Why did you leave?
Because we no longer see eye to eye. We was no longer working for the greater of each other.
You think that was because y'all were in the public eye, or?
No, I think it started before. I think we had one good year out of the 8 years that we were together.
Mm-hmm. Peter,
Yeah.
do you realize almost every relationship, if not all,
Yeah.
you play the same role?
I did.
Do you know what it is?
What is it? Tell me.
It sounds like
Yeah.
a pleaser.
I felt like something inside of me died at the same time. Okay?
Peter, there's a lot of loss in your life. Anyone attached to you could get hurt.
Yeah.
Peter, that's a lot to carry around. Can I push back?
You can.
Is that fair?
Not for them.
What about for you?
I don't care about me as much as I care about them.
How can that be? You're a real human being with real feelings.
Yeah, no, but, you know, it's crazy because what you become and what you are is not necessarily what you want to be, you know? And the same reason why I never went and visit my brother's grave, because I couldn't change anything about that, okay? I've been in 2 marriages where it didn't work, and I shut it off. I was married to someone on a public platform with millions of people watching. And if you ask me about the good times with that person, I don't think I could name 5.
How is that possible?
Because I locked it away. They didn't see me being worthy, so therefore they're not worthy to me. So I locked it away. But when I look at them and I see that they're happy with someone else, I'm actually happy for them.
I'm just gonna ask it. It seems like you desire love, but feel like you can't have it. You don't strike me as someone that does not want love. Matter of fact, I think I'm talking.
I am a sap. I'm a sap for that shit. I'm a sucker for that shit.
Well, what does that mean?
Okay, yeah. Because I want someone that want me as much as I want them, and that rarely happens.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, a lot of people see me and they think I'm promiscuous. They think that I sleep around a lot. They think every time I walk into a room and a pretty face says something to me, I'm with it. But they don't know that I'm a germaphobe and that's not my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm happiest when I could do one thing. If I want to suck, fuck, or anything I want to do, I could do it with one person. That one person only want to do it with me.
Yeah.
I'm that type of guy. You know, and if I think that you're not that type of person, then I don't want to be with you. It's hard to come by.
Yeah.
And I said some real shit that you probably wasn't even expecting.
No. I mean, Peter, when we look at it, we talked a lot about Dad. We haven't even talked about Mom.
Oh my God.
Right? We haven't even talked about Mom. And if we're being fair to Peter the child.
I only talk about my dad, right?
Right.
My mom used to whoop my ass. My father didn't beat me. My mom, I remember when I was 13 years old and I was going to IS 320 Ebbets Field, and I came home and there was the Jolly Stompers, the Savage Skulls, the Mamas, okay, all of these gangs back in New York in the early 70s. All right, I was never the type of boy that wanted to be a part of any gang. I like to walk alone. I was never the man or the young man that going trips with 20 guys to Puerto Rico or to Dominican Republic or to Venezuela or to anything. I remember I did a conference in Toronto, my music conference in Toronto, and my friends came up there and we had the baddest hotel because I like the finest shit in life. So I invite everybody to the hotel, and all my friends come, and a lot of them came with a lot of women. I'm not gonna name their names because then I'll be
don't get in
ratting.
trouble,
I'll be
Peter.
Getting them in trouble. But they brought a lot of women with them, okay? And they had a fuck fest in this hotel, okay? When I said a fuck fest in this hotel, these niggas was jumping from room to room, fucking, okay? And I'm in the grand suite because it's my shit. And they're like, yo, shorty back, yo. I'm like, nigga, if you touch her, what makes you think I want to touch her? You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy that go to the strip club and don't want the lap dance, okay? I'm the guy, if I see you naked out the gate, then I no longer want you, okay? All right? I never go on golfing trips to any of them. I was dating a Dominican. My youngest son, mom, is Dominican, and she threatened me. She said, if you ever go to Dominican Republic with a bunch of guys, I will never talk to you again.
And she knew what was going to happen.
Because she knew what was going to happen. So I've never been to Dominican Republic.
Connect the dots with mom, unless we're going too far.
My mom, I'll talk about my mom because as much as I love my mom, and I probably even love her more than my dad, okay, I'm not as connected to her as I am to my father, because I understand my dad more than I understand my mother.
How so?
I really do. My dad inspired to be more. When my mom, she was more of a settler, because my dad personality overrules hers by saying, hey, look, stay home, take care of the kids. I'm going to take care of you. All right, and she'll go out and, have her little jobs from there. But, like, when I looked at her, I remember when my dad was in his 40s and he needed a job to get a promotion, and he had to go to architectural school to learn to read drawings. And he did in his 40s, and I was so proud of him. Okay, where my mom teach me something else that my dad never taught me. When I was 16, 17 years old, my mom was working for United Cerebral Palsy on Staten Island, and she was dealing with spastic kids that couldn't move. Okay, grown, they were even kids. I call them kids because they couldn't do shit, but they were in their 30s and their 40s. They would shit on themselves. And I used to watch how the therapy aide would treat them, and it used to break my heart. And I was a janitor because I was 17 years old, 16, 17 years old. And I used to, when it's time to bathe them, and I used to see how the people treat them, I'm like, yo, let me do it. All right? Instead of cold water, I'll make sure that the water is warm. I'll make sure I soap them up. I put the mask on, and then in their 40s, they're older than me. You know what I'm saying? But they wanted to be treated like a person. And that's the best thing my mom did to me. She teach me compassion.
Did she give you compassion?
She gave me compassion. And she gave me the whip at the same time. Yeah.
So, Peter, do you hear the shaping?
I've never talked to anyone, by the way I'm talking to you.
Well,
now.
man, first of all, it's a compliment.
Yeah, never.
All right. And I feel, humbled and just honored to be in the position to be able to see things that you're putting out there. Because one of the things that I see, and this may make you feel uncomfortable, but you're putting it out here, is unnecessary.
I'm not uncomfortable about nothing, because I owe nothing to no one.
Not
I
even
owe
to yourself?
nothing to no one.
When I think about...
Only to God. That's the only thing I owe anything to, is to God, not to no human being.
Well, let me put this out there.
Yeah.
And you can push back. I hear unnecessary self-loathing. Right? When we look at this and you say everything around me gets hurt, and we talked about I was unlucky at love, and it's almost like it's self-criticism is the word I'm looking for. But it seems unfair.
To who?
To you. Look at how you were raised. Like, where were you given the recipe? Where were you given All the data. But forget the data. This is your life experience. The worst thing that can happen to a man is a harsh mom. Now, your mom might have been both, but a man goes to his mom for softness. She has to be warm and nurturing, even...
I never got softness from my mother. I never did. Okay, I never did. I just had experience this weekend with her, and I had to tell her about herself. Usually, I'm probably the only person in the family to actually really tell her about herself. And then she pivot when I tell her about herself, but she come back around and act like if I didn't say anything to her, which is the most amazing skills that I think she has. You know, and my younger brother, he's the caregiver for my mom, but I'm the caregiver for him. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like when it comes to success in my family, we are successful. I'm going to jail. Nobody in my family ever been to jail. You know what I'm saying? So I could talk about that. And when I talk about it, my mom was like, the only thing I worry about at this stage of me going away for 18 months is that if something gonna happen to her when I'm gone, I would never forgive myself. You know what I'm saying? That's all I think about. I don't think about nothing else. If something happened to her when I'm gone, I would never forgive myself. My kids want to come. I say, I don't want you guys to see me in jail. No.
But what about you being seen and supported the same way you support other people, whether they're up and down? You've made a...
Well, everything is my choice, though. You have to be accountable about your choice. I'm accountable about my choice that I make in life.
Yeah.
You know
But what
I'm saying?
about the people accountable to you?
I don't think anybody owes me anything.
Mom didn't owe you.
I don't think she owes me nothing.
Softness?
She could have aborted me. She chose to have me with all these other kids. And I'm in the middle, okay? So I never really get it. I never get the softness, okay? Because I was the oldest boy, okay?
But they're revered in certain
You know what's so
cultures.
funny? I was talking to a friend of mine today, Dr. Tartt, and I have 3 sisters older than me, and we live in a 2-bedroom apartment with 7 of us, 3 sisters older than me, and me and my little brother Earl, because Tad died, and my mom and my dad, right? And I was telling a friend of mine today that I've never seen one of my sisters in their panties or their bra.
Okay.
They weren't allowed to come out in the room for me to see them like that, and I wasn't allowed to come out of my room for them to see them like that. I used to see my mom in her panties and her bra, but I've never seen my sisters like that. And I was telling my friend today also that I've never had a disrespectful conversation with any of my sisters. I've never called them out of their name. I've never had a fight with my brother. Okay, he have never have to fight over why are you wearing my shit? No, the respect that we have for each other and the respect that they teach us, we never had that issue. And the person couldn't believe what I was saying. But as I was saying that, I was thinking, is there a time I ever see that? I've never seen that. Never. I went to New York 2 weeks ago to hang out for my cousin that I knew of, but I was never around. But because we're family, we just respect the family that we're family. And I met cousins and nieces that knew who I was because I'm the famous one in the family on television. But they don't really know me, but they love me because we're the same bloodline. You know what I'm saying? And I had the time of my life. I love these people, but I never give them time. Okay, and I realized something at this age now that I try not to get too close to anyone.
Why not?
Because I can't deal with them leaving.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And when something is not going my way, like I was telling someone, with everybody know that Cynthia and I was married. But when I decided to leave, and I remember the date, I'm really good at shit like that. I remember March 8th, March 9th, because I think it's Leon's birthday, which is the father for her daughter. His birthday is around there somewhere. When I left, and I said, I'm never coming back. I never went back. And I blocked her. I didn't want to see anything she was doing. I didn't want to see nothing, because I loved her. I was in love with that woman. You know what I'm saying? So when we moved on, I had to disconnect in order to survive.
Why did you leave?
Because we no longer see eye to eye. We was no longer working for the greater of each other.
You think that was because y'all were in the public eye, or?
No, I think it started before. I think we had one good year out of the 8 years that we were together. It was the first year.
What was that? What was that based on?
Oh, that was based on bliss, the love that we had for each other.
Was she loving you back?
Yeah, she absolutely was. I remember when I used to visit her, and she lived on 54th Street in the east side, and when I got off her floor of the elevator, she was at the door waiting on me, okay, and all lit up. And I was just to light up just to see her. You know what I'm saying? I remember she was a classy woman, because before I could even enter her apartment, she had to introduce me to the father for her child to make sure that we all get along. So I completely respect that. I wasn't used to that. I'm from the hood. I wasn't used to nobody even doing that. Okay, but I think with people that never had anything, when they have it, and if they don't have the ability to make 2 turn into 4 and 4 turn into 8 and 8 turn into 16, they have a tendency to hoard and protect. And I don't feel that way about anything. You know what I'm saying? I think she does. Okay, so when she starts doing this, when it comes to materialistic things, when we're not in support of each other, I just couldn't do it anymore. When I left Housewife in 2016, it was the highest the show I've ever been. Okay, but it wasn't about the show. It was about me supporting her. You know, it was called the Atlanta Housewife, not. You know, they used to say that they used to call me Patricia, and that I have a peach, because I used to always meddle in the woman business. And said, but I was working for her, because she wasn't built for it. So I was doing it to make sure she stay on the show.
Peter, do you realize almost every relationship, if not all, you play the same role?
I did.
Do you know what it is?
What is it? Tell me.
It sounds like a pleaser.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about the trauma responses? There's fight, there's flight, there's freeze, and then there's fawn. No one talks about fawning. Fawning is where my identity is whatever makes you happy. All right? I don't have presence. It doesn't matter about me. I'm happy if you're happy. All right? And the minute you're not happy with me, it disrupts the whole dynamic. And it's all trauma. Because when we don't have the luxury, the necessity of a present loving mom, and a present loving dad, verbal, that says, you know what, Peter, I love you just because. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to perform. You don't have to please. You know, when you go to pick your kids up, you're not looking for the best looking kids. When I go pick my kids up from the school, you know, my son was the only one today that got his clip moved down. Everybody else was behaving, but his clip was...
I was 28 years old before I heard my mom said that I loved you.
See?
I was 28.
So where do you get the sense of presence that I don't have to please in relationships?
I didn't feel like she didn't love me. She just never said it. My father never said, I loved you, Peter.
How did you know it?
Because he provided for me. I remember seeing the Denzel Washington play by August Wilson, right? When the famous line where it says, I don't have to love you. I don't have to. I show you every day. I don't have to love you. And that was my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We need to hear it, because how do we know?
We need to hear it, and that's why I say it to my kids all the time, and I love them, and I kiss on them, and I hug on them, and my grandkids, I even give them, oh my God, they're all over me, and you know what I'm saying? And I make them feel it, because I never had it growing up. Never, ever
And
got that growing up.
Wasn't fair, and it's not fair.
It wasn't fair for me, but it wasn't fair for them either. And I have to look at it from the perspective of them. My grandmother used to break rocks and sell to the government gravel for them to pave the street in Jamaica. Right?
That's a tough life.
Yes. My mother's mother. Okay. That's the only grandparents that I knew. My dad, father, and my dad, mom died. My dad, mom died giving birth to twins, and they live in the country. And by the time she got to the hospital, she bleed out, and all three of them died. Right? So I never met them. I mean, she was between Arawak, Indian, Irish, and black. Right? I never met them. These people didn't take pictures. I don't even have a picture of them. I don't know what they look like. I just hear stories, not from my parents, from my uncles that's younger than my dad. He used to tell me about their mom and what she looked like. My dad never talked about it. I'm a product of my father that never really shared anything. Okay, my mother told me all kind of stories because I grew up with her mom. Okay, but on my father's side, 9 brothers, 4, 5, 6 sisters. I don't even know half of them, you know. But he was the catalyst that everyone that came to America, he's the one who reached back and make sure that he brought up his sisters, and he brought up his brothers, and he brought up his niece, and he brought up his nephews, and everybody looked up to him, right? I wanted to be him my entire life. So when he died, I felt like something inside of me died at the same time. Okay?
Peter, there's a lot of loss in your life. And we can't make light of that. These are people who cared about you. These are people who were there for you, right? And these are people that you still care about to this day. And you deserve, as you grow and evolve and get the best of what's rest of your life, you deserve that. Like when we are deprived of things, we only have one option: double, triple, quadruple enjoy the rest. Because I didn't have it. And you did that with the fancy shoes, the living it up. But there's a theme. Even in that suite, it was for your boys. You were invited, and my guess would be part of your worth is how you set it out for others. But the problem is, if that's true, who sets it out for you? One suggestion, and I don't know if you've ever dated, you know, and I've definitely been guilty of this. Anyone that's a helper, they tend to attract the help. You said you pick coach. You said you pick women who need help. And we do that.
I didn't know that when I picked them.
What did you think you were doing?
But I think the vibration led me to them.
It feels good to feel needed. And if that's how we're raised, make yourself worthy. You know, do something. It's not that I love you just because you exist. When you go pick your kids up, you don't have to do anything for me to pick you up and say you love me. You just have to be at school. Even if you skip in school, I'm still gonna love you. I'm gonna be mad at you, but you don't have to perform. But when you're not given that luxury as a child, and that you feel like you have to perform or stay out the way or figure it out on your own, to survive, you did something very smart. I'm gonna pick people who need me. Problem is, when you need them, they don't have the skill set. Now, I'm not saying anything about any of your exes, but it was never set up that way, Peter. And as you choose, if you choose to love again, I would encourage you, the first question you should ask is, are you a helper or a healer? Date you. Date someone that's trying to please. You'd probably be uncomfortable. Because they're like, what you need? If it ain't about me. They're going to be like, what you mean?
You know, I have some women in my life that want to provide for me, and I looked at them like if they're fucking crazy.
Why?
Because I don't need no woman to provide for me.
What about love?
You can love me, but I have to love you also. I gotta want you.
Okay.
I can't be with anybody I don't want.
That's true.
Yeah.
Why don't you want women who give back what you give?
This might not be what I'm looking for.
Might not. But what if, for the first time, you changed and you date someone who doesn't want anything from you? They just want you.
And I want them. I don't know if I don't know if I've seen that level of maturity within me as yet.
What do you mean?
Because it's usually, I usually want something that don't want me.
Peter, did you just hear what you said?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Could it be we date who we know? So you know rejection. You know how it's going to play out. Is it possible that the scariest thing that you avoid is the first relationship where someone loves you for you, not for what you can do?
Wow.
She's scary because what if she leaves you? See, the other ones, you know they're going to leave you. Because you already know.
Maybe I want to be left. That's why I got looking at me.
That's why we need more sessions.
Maybe I want to be left. We need multiple sessions for me to come to that place. I don't know what it is, man, but I am usually, I don't know, it's a vibration thing for me. I always say it's a vibration thing for me. I like to help people. I like to do things for people.
That's a good thing.
Okay, I like to empower people. I like to be with someone. I've yet to meet my match when it comes to someone that I am so excited about, and we're equally yoked, and we just want to go out there and just help people. Yeah, I'm looking for that person. Okay. I just haven't found them yet.
First, Peter, if we're going to be real, I'd be remiss.
Yeah.
You're going to have to fall in love with Peter and stop being so selfish.
I think I am at this point.
I can see you turning the corner because you're recognizing and today being open. And what I would suggest is, are you too hard on yourself? And the way you look at it is you look at that boy, right? And say, did he have what he should have had to have self-love?
Never.
All right. So how do you blame yourself?
I don't blame myself. And I don't blame others because circumstances, we're born within circumstances that we have to try to pivot and get out of. Okay? I'm always trying to get out of the barrel that people are trying to keep me into. I'm always trying to, I'm the person, let me tell you some stuff about me. I was given opportunity from someone that a lot of people don't even like, but they saw something in me to give me an opportunity. And the first thing I did when I got the opportunity is turn around to bring 10 people up to where I was to give them the opportunity. So I'm that type of person. I created platforms, major platforms, just to educate, all right, and to empower people to be better than me, okay? Not to be like me, to be better than me. And I despise people who want to be on a mountaintop and look down at everybody else. I don't think that's a community. That's you being selfish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm always doing something. And everything that I've done in my life, from being a restaurant owner, a club owner, or starting a music convention, or producing the Source Awards, second black program in the history of television that's an award show, or you know, working for Def Jam or working for Rush Management. It's always, for me, is to empower my people, to educate my people, to be better for the next generation.
Yeah.
So I've never done anything selfish in my entire life. Okay, I cry every fucking day from joy in humanity and the sadness in humanity. But I do it in the privacy of my home, because people would think I'm a fucking weirdo if they live with me and see the shit that really,
You're human.
yeah.
Peter,
you know?
I mean, we've talked for one time, and you talked about at least 4 or 5 deaths, multiple losses in relationships, losses when it comes to even hope in love. You should be sad. You should have these emotions. That's part of healing.
That must be the saddest motherfucker on the
No,
planet.
no. When we look at it, I see a different story. I see resiliency.
Yeah.
I see if anyone trades places with you, and I want you to answer this, what are they going to do? You can be hard on yourself if you want, Peter, but put somebody else in the same circumstances in which you were raised, in the same way it played out, and you tell me what options they have. Dad didn't teach you about love. Mom didn't teach you about love. What most people get is at least a soft mom.
My mother was never soft.
You've been softer to women that you love, the community, children, than what you got. You had to make it up out of osmosis. Most people can experience it. I know what softness is. I know what tenderness is. You've had children. What's the first thing they do when a baby's born? Put that baby on the mama's chest, skin-to-skin contact, so that that baby can bond with the mom. And then now they do it with the dad. They put the baby on the dad so they can bond skin-to-skin contact, so that there's a feeling, so that baby feels connected to their
You know,
parents.
it's so funny you say that. I was watching Starting 5 on Netflix.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that
Yeah,
program.
I did.
And the kid that's from here,
Anthony.
yeah.
Edwards, yeah.
And I was watching when his daughter was being born, how afraid he was. You saw the same thing I saw? And he's young, he's 22 years old, right? So, and he's probably in the best position in life. But how afraid he was, how unaffectionate he was with the mom, because he was never affectionate with her. And when they put that child on him, when the light went off, what light went on, and how because they followed those guys for a whole season.
Yeah.
And I saw the light went on with him when they put that child on him. Okay, when they say you want to cut the, oh no, I don't want to do it. But I don't know what his life was like, but he definitely was lacking in love also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw me and him when I was looking at him, right? And I saw how his daughter changed his entire life.
Yeah.
It gave him purpose, direction.
There.
He become intentional.
So there's
And
the
I looked
path.
at it and I said, this kid is going to be the greatest we have ever seen, right? Because when I looked at him, I saw my story. But the whole world is looking at him. No one was seeing me, but that was my story, you know, and I cried. I was watching it. I cried for at least an hour watching it. You know what I'm saying? And the opposite of him, okay, was Steph Curry.
Totally different dynamic.
Completely different dynamics. Where he came from, a loving environment. He met a beautiful woman that equally yoked to him, have beautiful kids, and have a completely different life. So I'm watching two greatness, right? On this is an amazing program, and I was so pleased to see that Barack and his wife was an executive producer of that program.
Yeah. So Peter, you know what that shows?
Yeah.
Is it you or how you were raised? What if you were raised like Steph Curry? What if you were given the proper examples? What if even now, see, as a child, you can't decide who your parents are. You just deal. But now you can decide who to be in relationships with.
Yeah, I know, but where that?
Well, first, you have to repair the child
Yeah,
that thinks that he's
I'm
damaged.
still repairing me.
You said you don't want him, Peter.
Yeah, well, I'm repairing me. I think
Right.
I need fixing first.
But the first thing that you have control over fixing
Yeah.
is your narrative.
Yeah.
It's called narrative therapy. So if you look at it and say, hey, this is how I was raised, and love didn't work out for me because something's wrong with me, that's permanent. But if I look at it and say, you know what? A lot of things I should have been given, I wasn't given, and I'm gonna have to go get now as a grown man. I'm gonna have to go get softness now as a grown man, and I'm gonna have to trust someone. It might even be because your mom is living, and there's choices here. To say, hey, mom, I know you couldn't, but you should have. I should have had softness. I know how you were raised, but it would have been better for me if you were able to exhibit softness. What that does is say there's a Peter that exists even with a mom who's not soft. I know you weren't able to give it, but there's a Peter that should have had it. And now Peter's gonna go out and get it. I'm not blaming you, Mom, but I am standing up for Peter and saying Peter should have had it.
You know what's so funny about that? And it just dawned on me. I didn't raise I didn't raise no my grandfather, my mother's father, because my mother's father had left her mom when she was young, and I think I was in my 20s when I met him probably 2 times in my life. So I had no feelings whatsoever towards him. And I believe that that had really hurt her, where she didn't really know how to give love because she didn't receive it from her dad,
Yeah.
All right? And my mother and my father, my dad, parents died when he was young, so he had to grow up faster than he wanted to just to provide for his brothers and his sisters. I was with my uncle, which is the youngest. He's 72 now, 73. And I was at a party last weekend with him, right? At the party, my cousin's 60th birthday party, and 100 people is having fun. And my uncle, which is my dad's youngest brother, at the party with the best music, food, everything, he came over to talk to me and my brother, and he was crying the whole time of how if it wasn't for my dad stepping up after his father passed away and taking care of his older brothers and his younger brothers and his older sisters and his younger sisters, they'll never be where they are now. All right?
I get it.
And my younger brother Earl was with me, and I guess he have experienced that before, and I watched him completely shut down. And I was looking at my uncle, and my uncle was at the party. It was festive as hell, and he's bawling. And I'm looking at him like, that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Which is, what is that?
Which is weird, because he was being so emotional at the party about the loss from my father. All right? And that's how I feel. I feel like when my dad died, all the responsibility of what my father used to do is now on me.
As the oldest.
Yeah. All right. And because, I've done that show for 8 years, and I've never walked. No one could ever say I walked around and act like if I'm some kind of fucking celebrity or something, because I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I was just playing a support role, and I played it a little bit too good for me to become as popular as I am. But at the same time, I never wore that hat, But everybody gave me that because it's like, I always said that it's like a pine tree in Oregon falling down right now and nobody knows it. I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted to be that guy. I don't want to be no celebrity or nothing like that. You know, so now that they gave me that, and I feel like I have to live up to that, you know, I feel I have to come out of the dark and I have to step into the light. And I am no longer living for myself. I'm living for my grandkids.
Yeah.
Okay, I went somewhere with Shante yesterday, and I don't know what they call it.
Reiki and sound bath.
Or whatever that was.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever that was. All right, and I remember when the lady that, and I know her from the music industry, and she held my hands, and she had me standing in a sand pit with sand that she said she collected from all over the globe because she traveled a lot. And she said, think of something, clear your mind. Think of something that could clear your mind. Okay? And I'm like, think of something that could clear my mind. The only thing that came to my mind that made me happy was Harlem, my grandson, Trey, Peter III, my grandson, August, my grandson, and Berlin, my grandson. That's the only thing that came to mind that made me happy. And I realized that that's probably the only thing I actually care about, you know, to make happy. Because I couldn't think of anything else. When somebody said that to me before, it was a blank.
Why them?
Because I look at them and I see me, and I know that they could never exist here without me being born or me being the reason why that they're here.
Do you think they want you to perform or just be Peter?
Well, they're young, so right now they just grandpa.
Meaning what? When they see you,
Love.
they just happy to see you.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
I'm just
softness.
happy to see them.
That's why you thought of that.
Yeah.
Is that it's pure. Yeah, you're gonna get them things, but that's not why they're happy to see you. They're happy to see you if you don't have anything.
Let me tell you something, man. The most I've been excited in the last 20 years is that my daughter sent me a video clip of August playing basketball. And I remember his father and his mom go to the basketball game, and it's like they have no coordination and none whatsoever. And I'm like, yo, these white folks probably thought I was crazy because I start coaching the team. I'm like, yo, August, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. And he's looking at me like, Grandpa, yeah, that's what I got to do? I said, yeah, this is what you got to do. And just one time I went. And 3 weeks ago, my daughter showed me a clip. She sent me a video clip from my iPhone. And August was bringing the ball up court, and he passed it to his teammate, and his teammate passed it back to another teammate, and they took a shot, all right, and they missed, and August got the rebound and shot it, and it went in. I have never been happier.
Yeah, that's pure, Peter. That's who you are. See, you can't, as much as...
Never been happier in my life than that moment.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Because something you showed him, he was able to do.
But he was so excited to call me and say, yo, Grandpa, have you seen the tape? Have you seen the tape? That shit fucked me up completely.
Yeah. Because he
You know what I'm
wanted you
saying?
to share. You poured into me. I want you to see what reciprocal love is like. Appreciation.
Yeah.
Right? You don't expect him to call and check on you, right? You expect him to call. Not even expect, but he calls because he want to talk to Papa. I just want to see what you're doing. I don't want anything. I don't want any chips. I don't want another
Well, I
basketball.
wasn't even there. My daughter was like, oh my God, he couldn't wait for me. Like, he harassed me to send you the tape. He wanted to make sure that you saw the tape. that I wasn't there, but Grandpa, did you send the tape to Grandpa? And I said, yes. I watched that tape like 1,000 times,
'Cause
bro. You know what I'm saying?
So,
You know, that was so dope. That was so dope.
so Peter, you know,
Yeah.
you now have a problem. We call it cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Cognitive dissonance is the fancy term to where you have like 6 in one hand, and then there's another one that won't let you think it. So it's hard for you to say, have this self-loathing for Peter when your grandson loves Peter strong. And other people you mentioned love Peter strong. So it's this contradiction. How can I be bad but good? So it means that this can't be true. When you look at the man, you know, that gave you the restaurant, if I'm getting it right, how could he see something good in you?
If I go back tomorrow and I say, Scott, I need a location, he's gonna find me one because he likes what I've done. He believes in me, he knows that I'm accountable. You see, that's what my dad taught me. He taught me accountability. He taught me to keep your word no matter what.
Yeah.
I remember when I was selling drugs on the street, and if the person said it's not good, I made it good. Okay, I'll take the loss to make it good. Because I don't want him to go anywhere else. I want him to come back and see me. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's about accountability, even though that was wrong as fuck what I was doing. But it was accountability of keeping your word.
Yeah.
You have to keep your word as a man. If you can't keep your word, you ain't shit.
So I have it's a final challenge for you just to consider.
Yeah.
How do you feel about creating a word to love Peter no
I
matter
love
what?
Peter. I do. I
Are you able to
I learned
forgive?
that in life. I learned that later in life to love Peter.
I'm going to challenge you to do it more.
I try to put me first at all times, because if I'm not happy, then I can't make anybody happy. Okay, that came along in life. I was, you're right when you said I aim to please. Okay, and I went through a relationship not too long ago where I pleased way too much. Okay, and I got nothing out of it.
Yeah.
But that person was broken and still is. So I feel like it's for me to help them and point out, and eventually they will, because they got kids.
Yeah,
you know?
I get it. But Peter, what about, as you know, it's the same cycle though.
Yeah.
It's when you pick broken people, right? What about when you need to be repaired? They can't do it.
They can't repair me at all.
But someone whole, someone who's also a helper, someone who's also a healer is who you should be seeking, even though...
You know, it's funny you say that, because I always feel like, what would I do if I get a woman that I don't need to fix?
Ooh!
Okay?
Can you answer that?
And that she's my equal, and I don't need, she's uplifting me as much as I'm lifting her up.
Sound good to me.
You see, when I was looking at your page, I saw that. All right, and I have never seen me in such a picture.
Not yet.
I'm 64. Okay, I've never seen me in such a picture. And my dad died 4 years ago, and he was 83. My mom, in 2 weeks, she's gonna be 89. And if I live to see either one of their age, that means I probably have another 19 to 20 years left, right? Okay, so the people that come at me on a daily basis, that knock on my door on a daily basis, is way younger than me. The people my age don't talk to me. Okay, all right, and I've yet to meet someone that's in my age category that even would, I think they shy away from me because I don't know what it is. Maybe, I don't know what the fuck it is, but they don't talk to me.
You just identified it
Yeah.
because your sign is, you just said, what would I do with the woman who's my equal,
Yeah.
who's there, who's built to build you up. Like, just like you wake up to provide, she's waking thinking about, what does Peter need? You know what? I'm gonna change Peter's diet. He talks a lot about wanting to live a long age, outlive his parents. I'm gonna think about what to cook for this man, right? I see him eating certain things. I'm gonna change it, all right?
I've never had that in my entire life.
But you never advertise for. You just said you don't know what you do.
Because I'm always cooking for somebody. They never cook for me.
All right, well, you know what? They're watching now. Your DM's about to get lit up,
They
Peter.
never cook
all right,
for me.
they say, hey, I'll cook for you.
I remember the only person, I can't say that. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I had such a woman, right? It's my youngest daughter, mom. I should have never gave up on her. Okay, I gave up on her. And she loved me the way I wanted to be loved.
So what happened?
I was at a place where I was elevating, and she was ridiculously talented, but she was afraid to live in her purpose. And I wasn't mature enough to see that. I wasn't mature enough to see the bigger picture, and I'm quite sure there was a picture. But I just gave up on her because she gave up on herself. Okay, she settled when she shouldn't have settled, because she could be a queen amongst women. She could be that person here. And she chose not to be by my side. And I wasn't smart enough to identify in that. She never got remarried.
Yeah.
Okay? And we only have that one daughter together. Okay? But when I think about any mistake that I made in life, I always feel like the mistake I made in life was not. I was so good at running away from things that didn't please me. That's the one thing I wish that I never ran away from.
That's deep. I'm sure she, appreciate it.
I would wear matching pajamas with her. I would have.
So there's still a chance,
I would have, yeah.
You know what's interesting, and we can wrap up on this or wherever you want to go, is that you saw the contrast. When she muted herself for you, you lost interest. And that happens because we lower our presence. How can someone be interested in us if we don't exist? If my identity is whatever makes you happy, who am I? How can you see me? And then what happens is it builds up this resentment. I gave up everything I want to do for you. How dare you not see me? How dare you not be able to reciprocate? And then you've wasted I've self-sacrificed for you and you don't appreciate it. When really, when we're looking at it, and you saw it from the opposite lens, was we should have both been present for one another. I should support your dreams, and when it's not time, then you support my dreams. But neither of us a race for the other. We just trade places. So if she's your spouse and it's your opening night and she's an actress, well, that night she's just your wife, right? I'm here to support my husband and opening up his dream restaurant right here in Miami. Got one in New York, got a new one in Atlanta. Where we are right now. I'm just here to support him. I don't worry about what's in my movie. Don't worry, it's not about me. It's about Peter.
It's so funny, she was so good at supporting me, and I was so good at supporting her. But I know she could have been way bigger than what she is. And she's big, she's huge. But she could have been the king of what she is.
Yeah.
Okay, and for the fact that she passed on the opportunity to be by my side, I didn't receive it well.
Yeah.
Okay.
We grow, we mature, and then Peter, right now you're healing yourself. You're just starting this journey now. And what you see is that there's multiple times in your life where you're gonna have to go back and talk to the boy and tell him what's really going on.
Yeah.
That's how you heal. People
I try
say
to
you
talk
can't.
to that nigga. That nigga don't listen to me. He don't listen to me. He's on some other shit.
No, you might be. I'm a pay raise on that one if you don't listen to yourself.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but
I enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you being vulnerable, man. And
you got me all fucked up on this thing.
I see you healing, and I see hundreds of thousands of men watching this healing because you gave them permission to be vulnerable and still be macho. That's what makes you rare. I'm just going to give you feedback.
Yeah.
You have the ability to have the traditional machismo, the alpha, the masculinity, but also the strength to be vulnerable and be open. And that's not something men thought they had the ability or permission to do. And that's what makes you unique. I know that's at least one of the things that people like about you, is that they gonna know where they stand with you.
I was told by all these motherfuckers nobody like me. I was told, but I still, in order for you to get anywhere, you just gotta get up and put one leg in front of the other to get to where you're going. And that's something that my father did teach me, and that's what I do every day. I thank God when I get up in the morning, oh shit, I'm here. I gotta do something today, and I try to do the best that I can. I try to help other people. I live for humanity, I really do.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I love the most about me, is that I'm never selfish, I love black people, I really do. And I love people in general, but especially us, because I know that, especially black men, I know that nobody gives a fuck about us. So if we don't care about each other, then we're just doomed.
Yeah. We all we got.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so I live for that.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say it. And I know it's new, but God doesn't judge you. That's the
So.
Well, man will.
Yeah.
But God will say, I died for the forgiveness of our sins, which means I knew in the very beginning how you're going to be, and I still choose to love you, which is why so many people rock with God, because when the world will turn and have judgments about things they know nothing about, don't know people's backstory, only know what they see, God is like, I still rock with you, right? I forgive you. All you have to do is repent and say, hey, I made some mistakes, and then be done with it. He's not going to ask you to go in detail. He's not going to ask you to write a 5-paragraph essay. He's not, all right, you realize what you did? Hey, we're all imperfect. I'm the only perfect person to ever live. Which means everyone has sin, and yet I forgive you, and I'm giving you permission to love you.
I'm a little bit confused about the Bible. Because it says something in the Bible where it says it's only 144 people going to make it through the gates of heaven. And that's in the Bible. There's 8 billion people on the planet.
The foundation of Scripture is if you give your life to God, if you just acknowledge me as your Father, that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, if you acknowledge that 1 second before you pass,
Yeah, you're good.
you're good. That's what happened with Jesus on the Bible when he was on the cross, when he was stretched out. He said, will you forgive me? Right? And he said, yeah. That was the first time. That's hard. That's a love for us that's hard to conceive. And that's why so many people, you can try to intellectualize it, you can talk about how they changed the Bible, and you won't change their mind. They'll be like, well, I can't tell you about anything. I can just tell you what I know, is that when no one was there for me, the only love I felt was from God.
I saw that, I read that, and I saw that in movies, and I'm gonna give you something before we leave. On the Atlanta Housewife, one of the person that I respect the most was Greg Leaks. All right, and I remember Nene called me and told me that Greg is probably not gonna be here for another week. And I was living in Miami, and I said, what? And I flew up, and I went and got Apollo. I said, Apollo, Greg is not gonna be here. Come with me. And we went to go see Greg in Duluth. And when I got there, and Nene walked me into their bedroom where he was laying, I didn't recognize Greg. Greg looked like a little old East Indian man. Not the Greg that I know. He looked like a little old East Indian man. You ever seen the mummies and they look like they're little people?
Yeah.
Greg was a big guy, but he looked like a little guy, and his hair was straight. I swear he was from India somewhere. He didn't even look like Greg. And when I looked at him, it's Greg. And he's laying there, and Nene said, Peter, Greg is here, and he can't move his body, but he can move his eyes. He looked, and I see him, and I see like his eyes got wider, and I'm like, oh. And she said, oh, he's happy that you're here, Peter. All right? And I held his hand, and he had no strength to really hold me back. And he kind of give me just, I could feel that he was making an effort. And the whole time I looked at him in his bedroom, it made me appreciate life and living. He was looking out the window, and the birds were chirping out the window. And I held his hand Apollo was with me. And he held my hand for at least an hour. And I got scared as a minute go by that, oh my God, if he died now, I'm not gonna recover from this. All right, and I'm holding his hands, and he's looking out the window the whole time. And it connected to me that he knows he's going, but he's gonna look at the light, and he's gonna hear the birds, and he's gonna appreciate the moment until he no longer have it within him. And when I walked away an hour, 2 hours later, nothing else mattered to me. And I would never get that out. It would never leave my mind. It's just that. And that's why I cried so hard when my dad died, because I came up to see my father. 2 weeks before he died, he had visited me in Miami. And when he walked in the restaurant and my staff, they knew how excited I was about him coming to see your father is here. And when I went from the patio and I saw him coming through the door, he tried to make a couple of steps towards me. My father's like 6'2.5", 250 solid, carpenter, every day. All right, and to see him where he couldn't even walk, then I had to run over and grab him. Okay, and then spend the weekend with him. It so happens that weekend was a storm in Miami, and we couldn't leave the house, so we get to spend some time together. And 2 weeks later, when I came here, and I called him and I said, it's COVID, December 8th, and 2020. And my mom was with him, and they didn't allow me to go and see him because only one visitor at a time. Okay, so I said, yo, Dad, I'm gonna come and see you tomorrow. And you know what he said to me?
What?
I called him around 7:30. And I said, Dad, I'm gonna come and see you tomorrow. And he said, Peter, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow. I said, yo, why you always talking about that? He's been talking about dying my whole life. So I'm saying, why you in moments like this you playing? But I already know that the doctor said that they was gonna send him home because there's nothing else that they could do for him. And I said, yo, no, they're not gonna let me come upstairs, so I'm gonna come 8:30 tomorrow morning to see you. And he said, Peter, you're not listening to me. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Remember what we talked about in Miami? I need you to take care of your mom and your sisters and your brothers. And I said, yo, stop talking like that, man. I'll see you tomorrow. And I hung up the phone. And I couldn't sleep that night, so I went out, me and Apollo went out, and we was in the club, and my phone rang at 3:17 in the morning, and I looked at Apollo, and I said, my father just died. And I went to the restroom, because my brother called me. He never called me at that time. And I said, what happened? He said, Dad is gone. Come to the house and get Mom. We're on our way to the hospital. And I remember going to the hospital, and it was nighttime that he died, and I was thinking about, I don't know if Greg happened before him or after him, I can't remember. But later on, I'm thinking about that he'd never get to see outside as Greg saw the outside. I was happy when Greg died because he was suffering, and his eyes was glued to the louver windows, looking outside with the blinds, okay? And my father died without me being there, and he told me he wasn't gonna be there tomorrow. So when I got to the hospital at 4:30 in the morning, I got in the bed with him, and he was still warm. I put my hands on his chest, and he was still warm. And you know, the saddle, they tucked the sheets and under them, and he's just laying there. And I undo it, and I put my hand on his chest, and he was still warm. And I got in the bed, and my mom is sitting in the chair, and my brother's just pasting around. All right. And all right, 8:30 in the morning, a nurse came in, and she said, yo, Peter, I was with him. All right. And she said, she asked him if he needed anything. And he said, I got all that I need. Thank you for everything that you have done for me. Okay? And then when she said that, I felt good, and she was Jamaican too, so they're speaking their dialect, so I was glad that he get to talk to somebody that is from where he's from. And then they came and said, we got to take him, Peter. And he had got cold as ice. Okay? All right, and then I knew I was never going to be the same again. Never in my life. So every time somebody talk about him, I am so emotional. And the therapist that I spoke to before told me that when he died, I went all the way back to 1975 when my little brother died.
It's possible.
I went all the way back to 1974 when my grandmother died. And I was dealing with all three deaths at the same time. I lost $5 million in 2 restaurant properties that I didn't care about at all.
But losing family is different.
I just wanted to. Alonzo Mourning's wife, Tracy Mourning, I was in Martha's Vineyard, and she saw me, and she looked at me, and she said that you need to call this number, Peter, on Wednesday or Tuesday morning at 8:45. I need you to call this number. And I said, what number? I love Tracy. I said, what number? And I took the number from her. And the next day I saw her, and she said, Peter, you gonna call the number? And she took me to lunch. I went to lunch with her. I said, okay, Tracy, I'm gonna call the number. And I left Martha's Vineyard. I was with my attorney. I stayed in the house, and I never left the room with, and my attorney, Wendy, she just knew there's something wrong with me, and she just wanted me to be at peace. So Tuesday morning came, and my phone rang at 8:40, and it was Tracy Mourning saying, Peter, you calling the number. You got to call the number in 5 minutes. I'm like, fuck, she's so determined about me calling this number. So I called the number, and when I called the number, it was a Bible study, right? And I'm like, damn, she got me in a Bible study? All right, and I'm listening. And I know she was on the call, so I wanted her to know that I called. All right, but the person that was conducting the Bible study was Curtis Martin. And Curtis used to be the running back for the
For the
New York
Jets.
Jets, and he's a friend of mine, and I haven't seen him in years. And after he talked, I said, Curtis, Curtis. And he said, who's this? And I said, it's Peter. And he said, Peter? I said, yeah, Peter Thomas. He said, oh, shit, Peter, you on the line? You in Bible study? And I'm like, yeah. And I start talking to him. And it was the first time that I bawled on the phone for like 45 minutes talking about my dad and my little brother and the whole 9 yards. And when I got off the phone, I felt so much lighter. Okay, and he called me back and he said, you got to call this person. Tracy called me back also. And then there's several other celebrities that called me that had my number, that called me and said, oh my God, man, we're so sorry. And they were saying all kind of shit. I felt weird. I felt like, now I was talking to Cynthia. This is how crazy Cynthia is. But I was talking to Cynthia, fast forward 4 years later. And I went to lunch with her at Papado's in Alpharetta somewhere. And I was talking to her for the first time because after the divorce, we never spoke. And my dad liked her, and she didn't come to her service, so that I'd make me even dislike her more. Okay, and I said, you know, we was talking about my dad. And she said, yeah, I remember when I met you, first thing you wanted to do was introduce me to your father. So I drove all the way over to College Park at the barbershop to introduce her to my dad. That's how excited I was about this girl. But anyway, she said, I was telling about the phone call with Curtis Martin, and she said, a basketball player that, I can't remember his name, that she was engaged to. I think you know who he is. He was the guy who was Jason Williams. Remember he accidentally killed the driver or something like that?
Yeah.
Jason Williams was on the line when I was bawling on the phone, and he got off the line and called Cynthia and said, you need to check on Peter because he's really in a fucked up place. And she said that to me like 3.5, 4 years later. And I was looking at her. And I said, but you never checked on me. And it's 3.5 years later, and you're telling me this for the first time.
What did she say?
I didn't say that to her. I was thinking that. I looked at her like, and I said to myself, but you never checked on me. It was kind of crazy.
That's
and
tough.
This is that. It just pushed me
Further away?
further away from any kind of relationships.
Yeah.
Like that I would pour everything into.
You know, again, you have to be around people that's going to pour into you the same level, you know, and not say anything about Cynthia. Looking at it, her husband saw it. I mean, her boyfriend, whatever he was, you know, Jason saw it. Hey, you should reach out. And for that not to happen was, again, an emotional injury of someone not being there for you. Now, maybe she was setting her boundaries. Who knows what her story is, and I'm sure it. But as you move forward in relationships, I'm just going to be honest. You do have to, first of all, establish safety. Can I trust you to be there for me the same level? And one adjustment you can make is, can I trust you to the point where I don't have to shut down? I can open up to you and we can work through things versus it just being done.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. But Peter, I appreciate it. Yeah, man.
You,
I appreciate it, my brother.
I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I saw you today and I said, you know what? I'm gonna find somebody that I could wear matching pajamas with.